This story is supported by the Public Welfare Foundation, committed to advancing a transformative approach to justice that is community-led, restorative, and racially just. Learn more at publicwelfare.org.
Community, Arapaho community. That's the clinic. This was the community hall where we have like general council meetings, basketball tournaments. Over here is the senior center where people, they serve lunch every day for seniors. I'm Arapaho. I grew up here until about junior high. Then we moved to Salt Lake City and I went to junior high, high school, college, and law school there. I moved home to the reservation and I started working as an attorney for the tribe. I eventually became chief judge. But during that time, I was dealing with like a lot of grief and loss that I had no idea how to cope with, and so I became addicted to opiates. And it all kind of came to a head, and I was federally indicted in 2019 with federal charges. And I was pregnant at the time, and after I was indicted, I ended up going to treatment for 5 months, and then I was out for 2 years because COVID had hit, so I was on bond. And then I eventually went to federal prison in December of 2020. I was there I got a year sentence, so I got 6 months in federal prison and then 6 months ankle monitor. So I came out, I was on probation, and then I was living in recovery by then. When all that happened, I finally went to treatment and addressed my issues.
That experience led to a dream job helping others through the Northern Arapaho Reentry program, which is designed for people coming home from out-of-state federal prisons or in-state incarceration to the more than 2 million acre Wind River Reservation in Wyoming.
People who are coming out of prison have nothing, and so this stuff will be super beneficial. I have a client that's actually living in his truck, so this is really, really helpful. Just kind of gone through the process myself, being charged, being in treatment, being on probation, I feel like I connect on a deeper level with all my clients, and I know what it's like to be in their shoes and the importance of having a strong support. So I'll start working with them even before they get out of prison. And just so there's a smooth transition, helping them with housing, transportation, jobs, to get on any benefits that they qualify for. So 2 biggest challenges I've found that people have are housing and transportation. A lot of people, when they come home, they don't have housing to go to. Either all their family members passed away when they were gone, or they're coming home to a family that's still in dysfunction, that are still drinking and drugging, and they don't have a safe, sober place to go to. So one of the biggest things I do is help them set up with sober living. And then transportation, the reservation's so spread out, and so giving them access to transportation to go apply for programs is a huge support for them. So that's a big part of what I do, is transportation and housing and treatment. If somebody needs treatment, then I try to get them access to that.
They did a clothes voucher, got me a phone, got me established, because the new technology these days, you have to get on Indeed in order to look for work. And a lot of people don't do paperwork anymore. You have to go online and do that. And a lot of people don't know that, being incarceration, because some people are incarcerated for a really long time. And, time changes, people change, things change out here. And the only way to get established is through a phone and stuff like that. Some of the challenges that I faced was trying to get a job. I didn't have any clothes or shoes when I first got out, because what I had was the clothes on my back, and that was it. And Terri's program is one that helped me establish that. And I kind of want her program to continue, because us Native people really need that help out there. Because there's not too many programs that really help out here, and I'm glad that somebody from our community is really stepping up and advocating for us.
So the program was, my girlfriend, she showed it to me. She's been working with Terri. I've heard about Terri. So I reached out to her. She had me come in. I did my application. She's helped me get my driver's license. She's transported me to and from, took me to my probation meetings. She helped me get my driver's license, something I never thought I'd actually do. She helped me get clothes because when I first got out of prison, I didn't have any clothes. She helped me get some clothes. She's always there when I need it. She told me from when I first started working with her, she said, you know, I'll help you, but you gotta also put in the effort too. And she will, like, so you work super hard, she'll do her best, whatever she can for you. Like my interviews, like jobs, she's taken me there multiple times. She helped me get put on food stamps. She's always there. Just, it's pretty cool knowing that someone can change their life around, that it's possible, because Terri has too. So it's just motivation, I don't think just for me, but for everybody, that it's possible.
Addiction to drugs and alcohol are some of the struggles people in the area are faced with, and often contributes to the crimes they get sent to prison for. The Tribal Reentry Program requires sobriety.
I'm very loud and proud about my recovery, you know, and I had a really public downfall because of being judged and being charged. So I feel like it's my responsibility to show people that we can get better.
The program's voluntary and open to tribal citizens enrolled in one of the two tribes of the Wind River Reservation, the Northern Arapaho and Eastern Shoshone. It's also open to tribal descendants who are not enrolled in either tribe and other Native American tribal members. There are nearly 36 participants. Many people say they have faced many ups and downs, but are more determined now to stay out of the justice system with the program's assistance.
I'm more confident than I used to be. I know that I could do this with the help of Terri. Terri's program's amazing. Like, what she does is inspiring. I love her support, how she advocates for us and helps us with the right resources and gets us going on our feet. And now I got the chance to start here in my hometown with her program and her support, because when I was in Casper, like, I didn't really have no support, but I knew where the resources were, but like I didn't really have the right advocacy, I guess. And Terri's here with me. She gives me rides to the resources, and she advocates for me, lets them know like what I'm going through. I'm a single parent. I'm fighting to get my kids back, and I get my kids back today. And I have a job now, working with the tribe, and I can see my future being great with my kids. Like, I'm blessed to have this chance, and I feel, you know, I'm glad Terri gave me this chance. Feels like this is my last chance to get it right. And I'm glad Terri's here to help me with it.
When I got out of prison, I was trying to do it all myself, and I realized how hard that was. Like, it was tough. Her program, it's helped me a lot. Like, I've never held a driver's license, and I don't think I would have probably taken that step if it wasn't, you know, for the prompting and the push. I wanted to get my license, but I had to get insurance and stuff, and like I said, I'm not working currently, and I had no money to do so. I found her program was very, very helpful, honestly. Like, it helped me with a lot of things. Like, it helped me pay a little bit of rent to my father-in-law, who I'm currently staying with. She showed me all these other little programs that are available to me in our community. When I was getting out of prison, I kind of thought, like, dang, I'm a felon now. You know, I thought everything was going to be that much harder. And she's shown me programs that are pretty much specifically for felons, like this program. I think for somebody that's actually getting out of prison and trying to get back on their feet and trying to do the right thing and not just, you know, go back into the criminal mentality that they were in, I feel that this program is very helpful. It helped me out a lot.
People like have to go through some dark times alone, especially in incarceration, to decide whether or not that's the life they want to keep living. And when you find it within yourself, like, okay, yeah, this isn't what I want anymore, like, you just need that one chance, because, like, in this community, it's rare that you will find that. So to have one person be like, okay, I'll give you the opportunity and allow you to prove to yourself and everyone else, like, this is what you want, then you can have a better future. I have 3 children. Their father passed away in 2020 from alcoholism, so I'm pretty much all they have left. I just want to end the generational cycle of trauma, and, you know, obviously I've made some mistakes, and I just want to show them, like, I've learned from them, so that, you know, in their future they can take what I have and make something better for their children and generations to come.
The Tribal Reentry Program works with other organizations like Eagles Hope, offering 2-year sober transitional living. Eagles Hope helps people coming out of treatment who need a place to stay, with the average stay around 1 year. The facility is a former motel with 18 rooms. There's work underway to expand to a few more rooms for housing. Residents pay rent and have use of common living areas.
So this room here is our smallest rooms. We have 3 of them. And these are the rooms typically we house emergency housing, be it for just for the weekend until they can get to where they're going, or we help a lot of the homeless, and we usually start them off in one of these rooms, and as they progress we'll upgrade them to a bigger room.
We have found that the longer people stay here, the more successful they are. At one point I was a resident here. I was here for the full 2 years. So I came from Lander. Me and my family and I, we have a little daughter, and my spouse Shannon, she is our other employee. But we went through some pretty bad addiction for a long time in Lander and got into some trouble, and we lost our child to the system. So we did what the courts told us to do. We went to treatment. When we got out of treatment, this is where we came to live. We have been working closely with Terri on housing her people. We have one guy here that is just, he's a really fine example of what someone can do for themselves. He came here, he has a lot of medical issues. He's not able to work, but he came here. Terri helped him with his rental fees, a lot of driving him around, appointments, anywhere he needs to get. But since then he's got his surgery done. He's healing now, and we're all really confident that he will be able to work again and have a normal life. Yeah, so Terri is just everything I've seen her do. She has been, I mean, anything she can do for someone, she's willing to do. She works, you know, I've seen her work outside of business hours helping her people. So, yeah, she's been a great resource for us, and I feel like we've been a pretty good resource for her.
I'm kind of like the counselor, the mother hen. I do UAs, clean rooms, cook food, all that fun stuff. I do this work because I went through it personally with addiction, and it's just something I've always wanted to do. I've always wanted to help other people that have struggled the same that I have. So I would say about 70% of the people we serve are enrolled either Northern Arapaho or Eastern Shoshone. And I think it's because of lack of resources out there. So a lot of them want to come to town where there's more employment and more stuff to do, basically. Oh, it's awesome to see a lot of people that have gotten their kids back and have been able to find permanent housing, employment, vehicles, and seeing them out in the community. So at any time, I would say we have a waiting list of about 75 people.
I was just so messed up on methamphetamine that just took over everything with me, you know? Everything, that's all I ever wanted. It was just that, you know? That and a bunch of alcohol, you know? And then all of a sudden, you know, things happened in my body. I got in a bad car accident, you know, and it broke me, really. Literally, it broke me, you know? It did a lot of damage, like my chest area, you know? I did a lot of damage because I broke my clavicle bone. I blew out my spleen. I broke every rib in my body. I collapsed this lung. I pierced this lung twice. I had deep contusions to my heart. I clipped my lower valve to my heart. I broke my pelvis, you know. So I was in hospital for like 43 days, you know. And the first thing I wanted to do was get high. I just wanted to drink, you know.
Following his accident, Thunder was charged with a crime and ran from the law until he was eventually caught and sent to prison in Texas. After serving time, he came back to Wyoming, and the Northern Arapaho Reentry Program has been a lifeline, assisting him with services that have been challenging to find due to a bad heart and his medical condition.
I don't ever want to go back to where I was. I was basically where I couldn't even get up. I couldn't even really walk sometimes, you know. People had to be there 24 hours with me just to help me, and then I was just all gone off of meth, and life ain't always great, you know. But yeah, I appreciate her and the way she helps me hands-on all the time. Any problem that I got, you know, she helps me solve. When I meet with Terri, I meet with Terri every week or twice a week, but I keep contact with her almost daily, you know. And she helps me so much, you know, she helps me with all these resources, and she keeps me in touch with everything, you know, and it's just, she's a blessing, you know. She's a blessing for our people, and I'm glad this reentry's here, you know, because whoever else is coming out of prison, you know, if they're like me and really ain't got nowhere to go, you know.
The Dorianatsu Healing Center is the outpatient program, substance use and behavioral health program for the Shoshone tribe. Everything we do here is culturally based, so even when we're talking about brain science or other Western kinds of models, we put it back into the Shoshone medicine wheel and talk about it holistically. So we do a lot of holistic health services. We also have an office in Riverton, an outreach office down there that does services in as well. And that's how we have collaboration with Terri. So she helps people in the criminal justice system as an advocate, a peer specialist. And our program, we have people who are referred from the criminal justice programs. And so we collaborate services that way, particularly if people are on this side of the reservation or even in the Riverton office. I think she has a few of the people that she serves that goes to our Riverton office for services, outpatient services. I also sit on a reentry court, which is sort of a new federal court. And a couple of the justices, the federal justices, realized that the Wind River has had a high recidivism rate for people who get out of federal prison system. They return much quicker, and so they really wanted to see how we could help them sustain being in the community and not return to prison system. So that court was started, I'm going to say we're just over a year, and I sit on that treatment court. So the people who choose voluntarily to choose to be in the reentry court have once a month visits with us. They follow through on a number of requirements. It might be employment, it might be treatment, recovery support services, all sorts of things. And if they follow through with that, they can, on a point system, have a certain amount of their probation reduced. We've had one person successfully complete, and I think within the next month, if I'm not wrong, we'll have 3 more. So it has been really beneficial. I've seen the benefits. And Terri really plays a part in that and being an advocate for some of those people.
The support from tribal officials is a key part of the program. Tribal officials helped establish the program through a 5-year federal grant, helped find a vehicle for the program to drive clients around the vast reservation and neighboring towns, and leaders are continuing to offer encouragement.
It has helped a really lot of our Native people after they have gotten home for being incarcerated. for me, it's given a lot of hope to them and helping them get taken care of. Along with the reentry program, we also have the 477 networks hand in hand with our reentry program. With our 477, Terri has our people go over, our clients go over to the 477, they fill out paperwork, and that helps them get their food, their clothing, their hygiene, those kind of things, which if we didn't have that program, they probably wouldn't be able to get it anywhere else. It brings a lot of hope to our people that have been incarcerated for long periods of time. And I had visited with some of them, and what they had talked to me about was how different the world was in coming back into the world compared to when they went into the world. So that's something I think that Terri sees, and she's really been working hard at helping our people. And so we're fortunate and very, very thankful for that program. There's a lot of community service in the things that we do. A lot of the times we do things from the goodness of our heart or because we want to help somebody. And I think that get back to those values and working hard to get our own holding center so our Native people can come back to a place that we know that's going to be safe for them. Because right now, to a lot of us, the prison system is just a for-profit system, and they don't really care about the people that are in there. And so we see that difference, and that's something that we're working hard on trying to bring back here. Have those sweats, have our peyote meetings, have singing. There's a lot of traditional ways that we have in order to help heal people. So there's different ways for different people, and not all people are the same, and not all people will react the same way to one way or the other. So I really believe that being in the new country and having a reentry program is something really great for us.
I always believed in giving people a second chance, because the power of addiction and where that leads you, and like how your life can change overnight. There's a lot of well-meaning people here with families and children, so I've always mentioned that. So to actually see it come to fruition, was a good thing, because there are good people here that just make bad choices. Just from several conversations I've had with the people who were who were coming out of out of the prison system, whether it's a state or federal, the perspective that I used to give them is like, well, use that experience for something better, because you have sons and nephews and nieces and whoever. Use your experience with with what you went through to steer them away from that, because I believe that's one of the essences of being a good neighbor, or being a good family member, is that rather than have them bear it too, what you went through, I guide them in another direction. Because you guys have a bigger voice. You have that experience. You want them to be better. And so I used to try to implement that in their ways of thinking, because you got to give, you got to help people along, because we don't know what, we have no idea what people are going through, but we can, kind of sow some seeds there.
We all make mistakes. Some mistakes are more severe than others in our communities, but to see people change and to have services and a structure that welcomes back into that community. And I always felt that tribal people were always forgiving. We're very forgiving, which is a cultural and traditional trait that is one of our strengths, that people can make a difference and make that transition to as close to normal as they think. I think the important part is the relationship, and to bring in the family in that process. As kinship is important to all of us, there may be still people in that environment that are still dealing with that historical trauma.
When we talk about historical grief and trauma, we don't end it on the trauma and the grief. We talk about resiliency. And one of the things I think that Terri can do and assist in her story, and the treatment court, the reentry court in this facility, is tap into the resiliency. We're resilient people, and so that is the most important factor in sustained remission for substance use, in managing your mental health, and staying out of the court systems. So I think that's what's unique about it, is that we're really talking about how do we maintain our resiliency, how do we maintain our autonomy as individuals and as tribal people, and that's always done within the community.
All right, well, I'll come.
I love you.
All right, I love you too.
Yeah. See you.
I'll text you later, okay?
Yeah, text me.
I want my clients to get a healthy life back. If they didn't have it before, to get it now. You know, to know that as long as they have hope and they work hard and they're accountable for what they've done, like, they can have a beautiful life. You know, we talk a lot about having healthy boundaries with families, about you know, staying sober. I just want them to know that what they did and who they were before isn't who they have to be now, you know. And yeah, I just want them to be, our goal is for them to be self-sufficient, you know, help them get access to these resources, find jobs, get their driver's license, so they can live a healthy life for themselves and their kids.